Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 30 Days of Yin Yoga. Today's theme will be centered around going inward, really coming back to self and just feeling connected to yourself through the connection of movement and breath and stillness and listening to your body. Today we'll begin an extended child's pose, so bring your big toes to touch, extend your knees out to the side of your mat, extend your arms out in front of you, and rest your forehead on your mat here. Child's pose is one of those poses where you are so connected and close to yourself, it's hard to not feel with yourself or that you're going inward, you know what I mean? You want to even feel it further, you can take it into embryo, but we're going to take it into embryo a little bit later on. Let's just start here in extended child's pose, allowing our belly to release, our hips to release, and just fully surrendering to our space right here. Allowing ourselves to just begin to drop in, connect to our breath, connect to our center, and prepared to just really be with yourself for the next 30 or so minutes together. Begin to press your body up and forward. We're going to stay in this position, but begin to lay on our belly. Extend your left leg long and bring your right knee out to the side. We find half frog pose here. So your right knee lines up with your right hip and your right ankle lines up with your right knee. So your leg is in a 90-degree angle. You can lay your head down either on a pillow that you created with your hands or maybe a block. If you have a blanket or some cushion, you can always rest it under your knee as well. Just allow your hips to square off towards the mat, finding a place where you can find stillness for the next few minutes here. Slowly press into your arms, into your forearms, and send your right leg back behind you long. We switch sides. Right leg is long. Begin to bend your left leg so your left knee is in line with your left hip, left ankle in line with your left knee. Maybe you stay propped up on your forearms, but I invite you to melt your heart and head down towards your mat. I really love frog pose or half hop frog pose and fog pose because it really helps to stretch and open the lower back and the hips and really helps to cultivate that clearing out of accumulated negative emotions from the body, kind of help to achieve a feeling of freshness and happiness, that feeling that sometimes we get when we do go inward. First, you got to sift through those negative emotions to get out to the other side where there is that freshness, that newness. So explore that. Mindfully begin to press into your arms, into your forearms. You send your left leg back behind you and then press into your arms. Send your butt back in space. We find embryo pose now. So, very similar to child's pose, but bring your knees together and then allow your arms to rest back behind you. I like to rest my hands on the inside of my heels as well. Really just kind of finishes off and brings that whole circle of connection back into myself. So you kind of feel like a little egg or a little ball here. And I don't think there's any pose that you can really get this close to yourself. There's a few other ones, but this one is just a wonderful one to really help quiet the mind and restore spent energy. If you focus on the breath into the back body, the rest and digest side, and it will help support the natural outward expansion of your lungs on each inhalation. So, really think about connecting to your breath while you're in this pose and really sending the breath to the back of your body, deep into your lungs, and feel that expansion as you stay here. Mindfully begin to walk your hands forward and press your body up. Make your way into dangling. So just tuck your toes, send your hips up to the air, and then walk your feet a little bit forward. Walk your hands a little bit back. This is where we arrive in dangling pose. If you have blocks or a bolster, you can bring them under your hands to bring the earth a little bit closer to you. Bring that bolster or pillow out in front of you and maybe rest your forearms. Play around with how bent or straight your legs are. I've chosen to take a grasp of opposite elbows here, but I invite you to take the authority over your body and choose what best serves you here. While we rest in dangling, this is a very calming and relaxing pose. Really help to manage the stress as it activates our relaxation response, the parasympathetic nervous system, and helps to deactivate the stress response, your sympathetic nervous system. So, really just allow yourself to release here, release your upper body, release any and all tension you may be holding on here. Allow it to truly begin to melt away. Wherever your arms ended up, you can either release your elbows or press the blocks to the side. Begin to step your feet to the outside of your mat. Point your toes towards the corners. We squat down. We find a little yogi squat here. Bring your hands to prayer position at heart center and press firmly into your palms. And press the outside of your upper arms into your knees as you're pressing your thighs inward into your elbows. So you're creating this opposite kind of force from your arms and your legs, staying very firm here, finding length in your spine, allowing your seat to dangle. Always bring a block under your hips just to find a little bit more support, but really stay firm here. Beyond the physical very firmness we find here in yogi squat, it's something that can really help us reconnect as well. Can help you find a sense of being grounded and really tune into the earth, energetically awakening the root chakra. And this pose can really help put us back in touch with our primal human instincts. Begin to move out of this pose by bringing your arms back behind us and just lowering your seat down to the mat. You can grab a bolster or a pillow if you have one. Extend your legs out long in front of you. Bring your legs zip together. And place your bolster right at the base of your belly button. Inhale, you find length here. And as you exhale, hinge at your torso and lay your body over your pillow. Find that lock of your hands either around your feet or your ankles, or allow your hands to just rest by the sides of your calves. The seated fourfold not only helps calm the mind, but also really helps to bring the awareness back inward, really paying attention to how your back body and your front body is feeling, bringing the two back together so you feel more connected as one rather than separate, if that makes sense. Vertebrae by vertebrae, begin to roll your spine back up. Allow your head to be the last thing to rise. And put your bolster blocks off to the side. We find deer pose here. Come to bend your right leg in front of you in that 90-degree shape, and then bend your left leg out to the side so your left knee is in line with your left hip, your left foot is in line with your left knee. So both legs are in a 90-90 position, both sit bones firmly pressed into the ground. I want us to begin here with just a nice tall spine, allowing our body and bones to slowly melt into the earth, sending that energy point from our knees downward from our hips downward, finding squareness in our hips, just feeling the rootedness in all points of contact here. Reconnecting to your breath, reconnecting to your center. You can continue to stay here, or if you'd like to take it a little bit further, we're going to start to melt our chest forward. Option to grab a block here for your forehead to just help bring the earth a little bit closer. Then begin to walk your hands down. You lower your chest. Maybe your forehead reaches the ground. Maybe you play around with the height of your block and come to allow your forehead to rest on some surface, allowing your shoulders to release, maintaining the connection with your sit bones to the earth and your legs to the earth as well, maintaining those points of contact that we worked hard to cultivate and create, and maintaining them as we begin to further take this pose, not losing our foundation as we go forward. And if we do start to lose that foundation, just take it back a little bit. Just take a slight step back. Meet yourself where you're at. Take authority over your body and your space. Continue to go inward. You know yourself best. Begin to slowly press your body up. We're going to stay seated and transition to the other side of deer in a very fluid and fun way. Just place your block to the side, and then we're going to start to windmill our knees towards our body. We slowly rotate and we face the back of our mat now. So our left leg is in front and our right leg is off to the side. We went the wrong way. That's okay. It was a little bit of funky transition. Just come to meet with the left leg in front now. Find that 90-90 position with both legs. Find that tall, straight spine. Firmly press both sit bones into the earth. Find squareness in your hips. You stay here. As we connect, we find that length, that foundation on this side. And if you would like to explore taking it a little bit further, you can recruit your block, place it out in front of you as you begin to slowly hinge from your torso, begin to melt your heart down towards the earth, and allow your forehead to rest wherever it is it lands while maintaining that connection of all the rest of the points of contact of your body. You're partaking in a lot of beautiful, deep hip release, and so may this open your energy and emotional centers for healing as you fall deeply into this meditative pose. If you found that fold, begin to just gently press your body up and put any props to the side. And then just bring your right knee out in front, meet your left knee, bend your knees into your chest, bring your heels towards your glutes. Wrap your arms around your legs, inhale, find length, and exhale, bring your forehead towards your knees. Hug your body in tightly here, creating a little ball, finding a very similar orientation of our body to embryo pose, trying to create that circular energy with the connection of your knees to your forehead, your arms to your legs, your chest to your thighs. Allow yourself to be held here. Mindfully begin to lift your head, release the bind of your arms, and slowly begin to make your way on your back, where we find this little tiny ball pose, finding every which way to really hug yourself in. We started on our front, made our way onto our seat, and now we found our way onto our back. So Bring your knees into your chest, lift your head, neck, shoulders off the mat, and hug your arms. Grab opposite elbows. Just hold yourself here, creating a firm and tight little ball for a few more breaths. Hug yourself in tight once more here, and then slowly release the bind. Allow your head to rest on the floor. You roll over onto one side. We find fetal pose. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Bring your chin towards your chest. Maybe you hug your knees in with one arm or both arms. And just finding that orientation of this little ball pose once more now on our side. When our bodies are faced with extreme stress, our bodies naturally resort to this self-soothing fetal position, much like an infant would. So I definitely suggest you to find this, find embryo pose, or find any other orientation of that little ball pose where you can really come back to yourself and stay there. You feel that disconnect from yourself. Find one of these poses and find that connection back to self, even if it is just for a few minutes. I'll leave you here. Feel free to stay as long as you'd like, especially if time allows. Maybe you make your way onto your back for Shavasana, or you just stay here in fetal for a little bit longer. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. The light in me bows to the light in you. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow.